Hey, well, hello there. HW here. Thanks for watching Tone Jiggy TV. I want to tell you about my experience at Namm. Had a great time. I always have a great time at Namm, right? Namm is a place where the industry gets together, and it feels like it still really wants to get together and have a place to go. I think that's the biggest draw of Namm right now. I had a great sit-down interview with Christoph Kemper. Super excited about what we're going to get to drop when that video is edited and ready. Some big announcements from Kemper. Super excited that I got to talk to Christoph about that. Had a great interview also with Steve Atkinson, which I thought was a fantastic interview about Neural Ant Modeler. He's the man behind the open source plugin Neural Ant Modeler. And I got to tell you, that interview for me, I think real historical significance. I really wanted to sit down with Steve and pick apart his brain a little bit now. Because in 2 years, I think we're going to be watching what this thing has become. And I think it's really great to get the perspective now, just about 6 months in, really, to the project. Super exciting. And I got to hang out with a bunch of buddies, had a great worship tutorials, exposed, sit down, which I'm very excited about also. But what were the great things about Namm? What were the problems with Namm? Where do I see Namm going? I saw a couple of really great products. Iconic Guitars had some great single cuts that I played in a hotel room. They were kind of letting people play them in the hotel room. They were awesome. Also, for me, highlight of the show, Seymour Duncan's Hyper Switch. I think that's a really cool product, and I'm really excited about it. Check it out. You can basically program this futuristic switch. Feels just like a 5-way switch, but you can program any of the positions to basically be any combination you want without worrying about wiring and everything. You just wire everything to the switch. It does all the rest for you, and you program it yourself with a Bluetooth app, so you can switch it up whenever you want without going to a tech. It's awesome. Only downside, 9-volt battery. Just give me a giant battery. Give me a giant battery. Like, I don't know, just give me a giant battery to do something with. One that I only charge once or twice a year. I'd pay for that. Highlight of the show, I already said it was highlight of the show, but other highlight of the show, but it's something we were expecting, Cortex Control. It's out or it's not out. They had it built. It looked great. It said coming later this year, but from what I saw, I don't understand what would take them that long. I'm hoping it gets out sooner. Heard a little rumor it may be out a lot sooner than that. We'll see. Maybe there's going to be an open public beta. I heard something about that. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Not really sure, but heard some rumblings about maybe there's an open public beta. So we're gonna see. Here's the issue with Namm, though. I didn't get to do an interview with Doug Castro. I didn't get to do an interview with anybody from Tonex. And here's why. The problem with Namm to me right now is that when I wander over to the pro audio area, when I wander over to the DJ section, when I wander over to the horns and the brass and stuff, it still feels like the show is alive and well. But the guitar world is missing some big characters. It's missing some big people. And even though I noticed this show was up, you know, this show is an increase, 50 or 60%. For people saying the show was dead, it was not. That's not true. It's not the chaos and havoc that it was the last couple of years. I didn't lose my voice. Actually, I thought Namm was quite enjoyable, the volume and the amount of people it was at. There was a lot of people there. Busy booths were busy. When people performed, you couldn't get close to the booth. But when they weren't performing, you could get to all the booths. Only a couple times was I not able to get, was there like critical mass at a booth and you couldn't travel near it. But that's very typical of other Namm shows. It's chaotic. It's too much. It's hard to see things. This was actually very enjoyable. I would liken the crowds that I saw at this a lot more comparable to SEMA and CES. If you've ever been to either of those shows, the density at this year's Namm was very comparable to those being much larger shows. Namm has in the past been overly crowded and not very fun to traverse. And it's terrible when everyone's blasting stuff so much that you can't actually hear anything. The old saying is, I tried it at Namm, which means I didn't try it at all. But here is the real problem I see at Namm. This old school trade show type event is really showing its limitations with the fact that there's products coming out around Namm and people aren't even showing at Namm to release them because all I can do as a media member is bring a camera and have shitty sound and just like have this not great experience of you showing me something. And it's great. It's fine if you're going to release Cortex Control like that, because people can walk up and do a little demo. And what is Cortex Control? Well, it's just the little screen now put on the big screen, right? It's fine if you maybe want to do something like the Hyper Switch like that so people can try it out. And you want to do, you can kind of explain what it is. And you can also have some online content that goes with it, some explainer videos. The problem is when we want to get real depth with people like Christoph Kemper, like Steve Atkinson, like Doug Castro. I was not able to do an interview with Doug just because I couldn't get him away from the show. And everybody else, I got over to my Airbnb where I set up cameras and stuff. We're tutorial guys. My buddy Addison, JHS guy, they all helped with the video. Nick and Brian and everybody, and Curtis from Lambertones, they all helped me make those videos and helped me have them look really good. And to do that, I had to get an extra big Airbnb for all of us. We all split the Airbnb, but I said, hey guys, I want to upgrade to this nicer one because I think we'll get better video. And I was the only one really doing a lot of video stuff. So here I am putting out, I think this is the issue with Namm. Here I am putting out a significant cost to get a great Airbnb, and all those guys, were pitching in and stuff. But I was like, we need to upgrade. Let me take care of the upgrade cost. So I'm going out of pocket basically to get help and to have the right space. I'm going out of pocket thousands of dollars to get these interviews done. And it's and then I'm meeting people at the show and going, hey, can you come over here? Now, Christoph and Kemper, they weren't showing at the show, but they were at the show to speak with people. So they were able to make time and come over. Steve Atkinson was at the show for meetings with people. So they're coming over. So he has time to come over. Doug Castro is managing this big team. They had a huge booth at Namm. It must have cost $100K, their big Namm booth, because that's how much Namm costs. I planned 2 large trade shows. I've planned at 2 large trade shows, one of them being SEMA, which is big. I've worked with Freeman and done drayage and all this stuff, and UP, and just all of the logistics, right? I've been in that world. I'm telling you, Neural's booth probably cost $100,000, and to get everyone there, maybe more than $100,000. That's the type of budgets I think we're dealing with. For the type of content I want to make, and I think people are interested in when we want to talk about what's the future of digital, where do you see Quad Cortex going? Where's all this end up? And I think a sit down like that, unfortunately, I'm going to have to do that with Doug in the next coming weeks online. With people who aren't at the show, they're available for that. And therein lies the conundrum. Namm is great for visibility, but it has so much limitations. And I wish they would just take a look at GearFest from Sweetwater and just build in some of the show where it's like, can we have rooms to do some content? Can we have camera set up? Can they offer some sort of a thing for brands where maybe where you can say, hey, your booth space comes with this suite over here to do video? At this point, you have to rent, you'd have to get a booth large enough to make a room inside and set it up. I mean, it'd be the most expensive room. It'd be cheaper for brands to get their own Airbnb house and just shoot content. And that's one of the things I've been thinking about is, can we have a bunch of YouTubers just have a content house at Namm, And that was sort of a little inside test I did this year. Could I get a couple people to come out and do little interviews with me? Now in the future, we could do more filming stuff at Namm. Last year I did Curtis Lamberton's kind of launch video content for his new pickups in our Airbnb. If you see that video of me, I'm wearing this shirt and I'm playing a sparkle burst. All that was shot in our Airbnb. So that seems to be the way that I'm seeing at Namm. You can produce great content. The value is everyone getting together. And because the industry still wants people to get together. When am I going to be in the same building as Doug Castro, who's out in Helsinki, Christoph Kemper, who's in Germany, Digital John and Rabir, who are in the UK, When am I going to be in the same room as the IK Multimedia guys who are, I guess some of them are out of Italy, but some of them are out of Florida. When am I going to be in the room with all these people and Curtis and the WT guys and make it a collaborative thing where we can actually make content that wouldn't otherwise be possible because of the distance? When are we going to be able to do that other than Namm? Nowhere. Namm is still the central point that brings everyone together, and that's about the only value in it that I see, at least on the guitar side, because honestly, I think the cat's out of the bag. You look at companies like JHS, you look at companies like Wampler, you look at companies like I don't know, just all sorts of companies that have a big online presence and a YouTube presence. They can get as much word out there about new products as anyone. You know, more people are talking about the bad monkey, the JHS thing, than are talking about anything at Namm. So Namm is still valuable because it's the place we all want to get together. We all want to come together, but the type of content we can make at Namm, and that I think we want to make when we come together, is so greatly limited. Namm needs to go look at GearFest, and we got to have space to make content at the place. I did an interview with Steve Atkinson. You're going to see it. I believe it's historically significant. I did an interview with Christoph Kemper where we're going to announce brand new stuff around the Kemper and what's going on with Kemper, new stuff for the Kemper. That's in an interview I did, and they're not bothering to show because they can get it out another way. And it's hard to get your hands on stuff like that and really look at that kind of stuff when you've got all the noise and everything. You can't try it. Cortex Control, I think you can look at it's an add-on to a product everyone already understands. You can have it there. I would have liked to play around with it a little more outside there, but we'll have plenty of opportunity to do that in videos. Namm's gotta wake up. I mean, right now I'm happy to do a little content house. I think next year I'm going to try to up the game and do a little more of a content house type thing and get some people to bring over stuff into the bring things over. But honestly, I'm looking at is it even could I don't know, man. Part of me is like, can I actually get a space at Namm and have a booth and do content in that booth? Can I rent some other little space upstairs as a media person? I'd love to do that. It's just so cost prohibitive. If I were to rent the space, I'm wondering if I can get some space as a media person and have a content component. I'd love to help Namm do that. Hey, Namm, quit being dumb. Reach out. I honestly, I'd end up charging nothing to do it. And I think it's the most killer idea. Just give us space. I would make sure we get the goods there. We get the equipment. I get the equipment from people at the show. Maybe I'll try to do it. And then maybe Namm will just copy us what we're doing. But I'd love to be at the show making content at the show, being able to grab a guitar from the show, go upstairs, make some content, bring it back down, or just borrow stuff, bring digital solutions and try out different stuff, get the owners of companies, get people up there and do such a better online presentation for stuff that I think my audience cares about than what I can do on the floor at Namm. I tried to do it in the house. You're going to love what I did there. But anyway, I got to get back to business. I got to profile the world. Tonex releases, Kemper releases, HX family, Helix family releases, all coming in the next 7 days. So that's what I think Namm's got to do. The problem with Namm is everyone wants to get together. The problem with Namm, though, is it sucks for making the type of content I make, which is I'd rather be more thoughtful and have a conversation and show some stuff in a little more depth and how I think it applies to the audience. And you look at guys like Rhett Shull, you look at guys like Rick Beato, you look at guys like Paul Davids. The biggest YouTubers are not gear demo guys, and they're not Premier Guitar, let me show you what we did. Nothing against that. That's a type of thing, but it's one type of content. And that's the thing, is Namm is allowing for basically one type of content that was created around the Namm show, and they're not changing with the times. So Namm, wake up. Wake up. I'll freaking show up and do all. I already am spending thousands of dollars every Namm just to go and get a couple smaller pieces of content. And I do that because I think there's no other way to do it. So help me make a way to do it better. That's all. HW. Out.